2Bricks here, and I am so excited to be starting not only a new build project, but an entirely new theme of video that I'm going to be doing for the channel, and I guess a new sub-theme you could call it, which is the LEGO Ideas series of videos. The purpose of which is to try to get a LEGO Ideas model made with one of my designs. And so what I'm going to do is just start with what I'm passionate about and keep going and keep uploading new ideas until one gets picked. That's the goal anyway. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll get tired of being rejected by LEGO, who knows. But this is phase 1, and I wanted to start with something that is near and dear to my heart, so I began with the game series Jak and Daxter, which I would very much dearly love to see get made into a LEGO set. So what you're looking at here is the very beginnings of that effort. This is not what I'm submitting to LEGO Ideas. I have a pretty large and fantastical structure in mind, but I just wanted to kind of give you an intro to the project, to the idea itself, gauge a little bit of the interest and maybe start building up some buzz, because what we're going to need is community support from the Jak and Daxter fans out there. I know that there are a bunch of you guys, and you're very passionate about the IP. Naughty Dog has not done anything with Jak and Daxter for quite some time, but we are definitely still feeling that there is a lot of unused potential in this series. And so what I'm hoping to have happen is that a lot of people will get excited about this video series, and then once the idea submission actually goes up, we'll get a lot of interest right away and supporters to hopefully see this project come to fruition. So today I'm just going to take you through the custom minifigures that I've made so far, and one brick-built character here off to the side, and show you the little side builds that will populate the world of my build submission, and hopefully get you guys excited for what's to come. So let's dive in and we'll take a look. I'll give you guys a little bit of an overview of some of the very, very basic lore and stuff as well as we go. But the series is really, really fun, and if you've never played a Jak and Daxter game, I highly recommend you get your hands on one and give it a go, because they're all mostly all fantastic. All the ones made by Naughty Dog are fantastic, as well as Daxter, the PSP game. So we'll get into that later at a different stage when I kind of talk about some of the games more specifically, but this submission is based off of Jak and Daxter, the very first game for the PS2, and let's dive in and take a look at what I got. Alright, so starting with Jak and Daxter themselves, this is Jak right here. He's the hero of our story. For the first game, he's entirely a silent protagonist, a choice that is meant to, invite the viewer to project their own identities onto the hero of the saga, and this is Daxter, formerly a human being, or whatever the equivalent of a human being is in this world. He also had the pointy ears like Daxter here, like most of the people in this game, but he fell into a vat of dark eco, a mysterious, evil substance that turned him into a little, well, it's called an ottsel, but it's basically an otter and a weasel blended into one, and he's very adorable, and he can still talk, and he's very sassy. And so in the first game, Jak and Daxter go on a globe-trotting adventure to reach the citadel of Gol and Maya, two of the wisest sages in the land, to seek their help to turn Daxter back and go on a crazy adventure along the way. So that's kind of the basics of the first game. For the figure here, I have made several custom pieces, which I'm sort of prototyping for what I'm hoping that LEGO would produce if they ever were to actually make this set. So I have Jak. This is a custom hairpiece here, which is made out of a oven baked clay. So I just sculpted this around a minifigure head, and you can see there the unpainted clay on the inside, and then I just tried to capture all of the details that I could, and using official LEGO colors as best I could, I attempted to match with the paint color scheme, just to show how well the world of Jak and Daxter actually works within the pre-existing LEGO system. So Jak actually has an alternate face where he's very pleased with himself. That actually kind of is going to play into the play patterns that I have envisioned for this set. So he'll look very, very pleased with himself later on down the line when he secures a power cell. So I'll tell you all about that a little bit later on when we discuss the play style that I'm envisioning for this set. So yeah, Jak and Daxter can obviously be connected. The original, if you think Cal and BD were the first ones to come up with this formula, or Ratchet and Clank, nope, Jak and Daxter were there first. And they're my personal favorite duo of wisecracking animal sidekick and a stoic, kind of boring hero. But Jak gets a lot more personality as the games evolve. He just starts out as a very kind of a blank slate hero. But yeah, there's our main protagonists, Jak and Daxter, in their custom minifigure form. And as I mentioned, in this game and in this world, there is a mystical energy force known as Eco. So Dark Eco is what turned Daxter into a rat creature, and all the other kinds of Eco each have a sage is the master of that particular flavor, and of course they're all handily color-coded so that you, the player, can easily identify which is which. So Somos the Sage here is the master of Green Eco. He's been studying it all of his many years, and Green Eco is the energy force of healing and growth and nature and plants and all of that good stuff. Think Gandalf mixed with Radagast. He's very much in that grand tradition of the old, wise, kind of wisecracking, elderly, kind of master figure. And so you have to get Samos's help and advice at certain key sections in the game to kind of understand the mysteries of this world and know what you're supposed to do next. And so I've represented him here with a custom head, again made of the same oven-baked clay, just molded around a minifigure torso. He's also got a little bit of Yoda vibes too, with his green skin and his pointy ears. He indeed does have a log that is wrapped around using his hair, just to show how much he absolutely adores nature. And he's got these kind of funky lenses over his eyes, so he can have different lenses pop in and out to analyze things up closer, sort of like a microscope on his face, I guess. And he's very short, so these are his feet right here, and then he has these tree stumps that he's stepping on that are kind of like shoes. They're tied to the bottom of his feet to give him the height to be able to interact with other characters normally. And also he has a brick-built staff here as well, which I think looks fairly accurate. Somehow this is Samos's daughter, Kira, and Kira is a feisty mechanic, and she's also a trusted helper throughout the game. She helps you to fix the items that you need to progress in the story, and one of which is actually something that I've built that I'll be showing you a little bit later on. And also, yeah, I don't really understand how this family connection works here, but hey, she's got the green hair, so it's kind of like the Star Wars rules with Hera and her son, Jason, who are somehow related despite looking nothing alike at all. So there you go. Again, not the first ones to do that. Yeah, so Kira here just has the custom hairpiece with the ears coming out, all made in one piece. So that's how I imagine this piece would go. It would just be a single or dual molded element here with the hair and the ears. And I have printed up her mechanics outfit with the goggles and she's got like overalls on. And then in the back here, just very simple, just continuing that around the back. But yeah, so Kira, obviously she needs her wrench because she's always fixing items in the world. And that's kind of her main role in the scenario that I have here. She's just going to be fixing up this thing, the Agrav Zoomer, which is actually what she's doing at the beginning of the game, where I'm taking most of the inspiration from for this submission. So I'll be showing you that up close in a second, but for now, this is Somos the Sage and Kira, I guess Kira the Sage. No, Somos and Kira in their custom minifigure form. And the world of Jak and Daxter is populated by many different creatures, not all of whom are friendly, in fact most of whom will try to kill you. So this is a Lurker. He's one of the, he's one of subspecies of Lurkers, of which there are many different types in the game, but all of them have this really interesting, unique underbite, jawbone situation where they have these protruding teeth and yeah, like I said, protruding jawbone to the side. So that's how you know that that's a particular creature is a Lurker. So this one is one of the grunts that's sort of almost gorilla-like that patrols a lot of the early sections of the game. You see a whole bunch of these, and in order to defeat them you just jump up and you sort of do a spin attack and plunge downwards on top of their heads, and then they're taken care of. This guy here is all brick built, other than the fact that I printed some stickers to place onto these 1x1 round tiles for the eyes. I kind of took some inspiration from pre-existing Lego printed eye pieces for that. I thought it would be really important to capture that just for the personality of the Lurker, but I was really happy to be able to get his teeth and everything represented in there using a brick built design, just using that rounded tile in there with the two quarter round tiles on top, just allowing that little bit of the stud to protrude through. This represents, each one of these Lurkers has sort of a chain and a collar situation around its neck to show that they're actually not in control of themselves. They're being enslaved and controlled by someone else. That's for a spoiler territory for later on in the game. And then yeah, he's got a little shoulder armor piece here represented by this single blue piece, and then around the back just very simply finished off there. and he's got the little legs that are kind of canted forward in order to give him a nice, first of all, the sort of ape-like appearance that you want to see, but also give him a nice center of gravity so that he can stand very, very stably on those 2 feet. And yeah, he can pose his arms in a few different ways. So you can have them more down towards the ground, because these guys can actually go on all 4s. And then like so. And so you can have that if you want to. And then the arms can also go up and down. So you have quite a fair range of motion with this figure. And I just think with the eyes and everything in the face, it just works really, really well. And I'm very, very happy with this. I took a lot of inspiration from the Sonic range with the brick-built antagonists in those sets. And I think that this definitely would fit in with that very, very well, that kind of way of doing things. So yeah, there is your standard Lurker enemy, and I'm really, really happy with him, and let's see what's next. And so this is something very interesting. So this is not exactly a character, but almost the spirit or avatar of a long dead civilization. So this is an oracle statue. There's a bunch of different statues that the precursors, which is the ancient civilization from this world, left behind, and nobody knows what happened to them. We know that they were a very advanced race of beings, and they left behind, the world was littered with these sort of magical, energy-powered, eco-powered contraptions and things. And I'm going to be including one of these statues in my build as a way of dispensing a power cell, which is the sort of very, very useful, universally used battery source for powering items in this world. And so the idea was, in the game, there would be 2 power cells in the oracle's eyes, and you can bring over precursor orbs, which are these sort of egg-like things. And so I'm going to be making some custom precursor orbs using these Lego egg pieces, because they're perfect. If you bring the requisite amount, I believe it's 100, you can exchange them for one of the 2 power cells that the oracle has, and it'll kind of come out of the eye socket and down and out of this little trunk-looking dispenser here. And so I just wanted to have a little nod to that by just having the functionality be that you swivel this around, and then you can get the power cell. So it's just sort of like, you know, adapting that play feature for my purposes. And we need those power cells to power up, once again, the Agrav Zoomer, which I'll be showing you again in a second. So that's kind of a story element that I want to have. I want to have a very playable kind of mini version of the game within the submission here. So there will be collectibles that will kind of stack up and add up to other things. And like I said, one of those will be getting the power cell, which is the last one that you need within the story of my set to power the Agrav Zoomer and take you to the next stage of the game. So yeah, this is the oracle. It's very important and it's very odd looking. I really like the kind of otherworldly look of these creatures or these statues within the game. They sort of give me Fifth Element vibes, a little bit of like weird steampunk alien design, a little bit of Prometheus, kind of like with the face masks, you know. And yeah, I think it's really cool. So yeah, I'm really happy to be able to represent this in my set, and they are sort of this weird bronze, otherworldly metallic color. So I've just tried to use some colors that will evoke that. So we have some Nougat's gold, you know, pearl gold and dark tan to kind of give that feel of that coppery metal type of a thing. But obviously, you know, Lego has the ability to recolor pieces to whatever they want, so they could add a lot more unique color pieces like in pearl gold or whatever to really evoke that even better. So yeah, this is the Oracle statue. And this is the Agrav Zoomer, which I mentioned. So for most of the beginning part of the game, Kira is, you know, attending to this. She's tuning it up with her wrench and stuff like that, and fixing it up so that when you're ready with the power cells, you can power this thing up, and it can get you over the lava river that you need to cross in order to get to the next stage of the game. So in this build here, we have the little fan underneath, which is supposed to provide upward thrust and keep you off of the surface of that lava. We have the really nice, unique orange and yellow color scheme that just, I think, looks absolutely great. It really stands out against the rest of the kind of greens and blues of the beginning part of the game. We have the nice, you know, rotating front fan here, and I've used this hubcap piece to kind of represent the look of that front detailing with the yellow and black sort of checkered design. I think that works really well. And then you just have a tiny little windshield and a spot here for Jak to hold on to pilot the thing. So quite simple, really, and I think it's fairly effective, and And yeah, it just does what it's supposed to do. So let me go ahead and place Jak on here so you can see how he looks. So you can see there, Jak and Daxter fit on there quite comfortably, and that, you can kind of imagine them clutching at those controls and just holding on for dear life as they steer their way through a very dangerous level in order to cross over into the next section of the open world, which is barred to you for the beginning of the game until you gather the requisite number of power cells. So there that is, and I'm very happy with how it looks. I think the kind of chubby proportions here, the cutesy rounded look of this thing, it's almost blimp-like in its profile. I think it's just really adorable. So really happy with this. And the last build that I have to show you is just this very simple beginnings of what will be a warp gate. So these are the ways in which you transport around the game once you've unlocked a warp gate at another level. You don't have to then walk your way there. You can just use the warp gate to quick travel to the next section. So one of these will be inside of the hut, which is the main structure that I'll be building for this build. And so I wanted to just figure out a way to represent that. So I have the pearlescent transparent blue dish piece in here, and then that's just suspended, you can see here, with some very simple construction here, very minimal to keep that as transparent looking as possible from the back. The lighting conditions in here really don't allow you to see the blue, but the blue really pops in real life. It's funny, like with the bright coloration behind here, it really looks like this is a dull brown piece, but it's actually very beautiful bright blue, so you can kind of see it a little bit better now with my hand in front. But yeah, so this is going to be sitting right in the middle of the living room, looking like it is sort of floating above the floor there, so just ready to be jumped into once it's unlocked on the other side. Jak and Daxter can very easily quick travel between the stages. So why do I think that Jak and Daxter is going to make for a great LEGO Ideas set? Well, first of all, I think that Naughty Dog, being the legendary game developer that they are, there's no way that eventually they're not going to go back to one of the absolute defining classics of the era. The PlayStation 2 was absolutely defined by Jak and Daxter, in my opinion, and I just feel like we're going to get a sequel or a reboot or a continuation of some sort eventually, and that's just going to reinvigorate the whole brand once again, bring it back into the consciousness in a big way. But the fans that already exist for Jak and Daxter are numerous and dedicated, and have done some amazing things with the game, diving back into the old code and revitalizing it and coming up with new custom levels and unlocking secrets that were long buried within the game. As video game people are wont to do. But the actual world itself is so vibrant and colorful, it's so positive, and it's the classic hero's journey and has all these fantasy and sci-fi tropes that a young me was definitely not familiar with, and it blew my mind when I first played this game. You have to keep in mind, at this point I had not seen any Lord of the Rings movies because they hadn't come out yet, and Star Wars, we only had one prequel at that point, which was The Phantom Menace. So there was not a lot for a young me to wrap my mind around as far as these types of adventure stories set in these lush worlds, and so this was definitely something that was a formative experience for me. And it was also the first time that I played a video game that let you go anywhere that you could see. That was a huge deal, and the lack of loading screens was a huge innovation at the time. Of course, it was just clever game design to be able to enable that to happen, but it was still mind-blowing to me, the sense of freedom to be able to just hop in and go anywhere around in this world. Of course, everything now is an open world, and that's old hat, but this was one of the absolute first innovators in that space, and it did it in such a beautiful, well-directed and seamless way that it just really stuck with me. So that, and of course the colorful characters, really lively and beautiful animation, especially considering the rigs that were being used back then were probably so basic. The amount of work that would have had to have been done to get the performances out of these characters that they got. The voice work was all top-notch, the music was amazing. All in all, this series just absolutely lives in my heart, and I'm hoping that all the other fans out there like me are going to really get a kick out of this, especially once you see the actual hut itself. So the main portion of this that I'm going to be building, the main structure that's going to tie all this together, is Somos the Sage's hut, which is the first location that you see at the beginning of the game, where the A-Grav Zoomer is being stored, where there's going to be lurkers prowling around, where you're going to have to collect precursor orbs and other items. There's going to be a lurker shark that's patrolling the waters around to make sure you don't swim out too deep. That's right, you can swim in this game, and it looks absolutely great. And there's just kind of going to be a really nice sense of structure in terms of a large central thing and a lot of medium and smaller size things that go along with it, and it's going to really truly feel like a proper Lego playset, I think, with a lot of functions and a lot of story that goes along with it. So that's why I think this is going to make for a great submission, and what I really need for the community to do, like I said, if you're a Jak and Daxter fan and this is something you've wanted to see, because for me, I've wanted this to exist for 20 years and so I just have to do it myself because it's not going to happen otherwise. And so yeah, I just need you to get the word out to all of your fellow Jak and Daxter fans, Naughty Dog fans, people who've never even heard of Jak and Daxter and might, you know, discover the games anew, because, you know, they are available. Versions of them are available right now. You can get them. I know at least I have them for the PS4, the whole original trilogy, but I'm not super sure about what's available currently. But yeah, you know, get on it, because these games hold up, and each one of them is unique in its own way. The original 4 are absolute stone cold classics. There's also a spin-off PSP game called Daxter, which was really, again, an absolute love letter to those kind of platforming classics without actually being having been developed by Naughty Dog. So that was kind of an amazing thing. And then also another spin-off called The Lost Frontier, which was not as well received and kind of was the death knell for the franchise, although I still enjoyed playing it at the time. But yeah, so there's a lot to love about this franchise, and like I said, I know that it will come back at some point, and it's criminal to me that it hasn't had the kind of long life and renewal amongst fans that the Ratchet and Clank series has had, but that's purely down to the fact that Naughty Dog has been busy constantly reinventing themselves and making new crazy stuff. You know, The Last of Us and Uncharted are obviously massive franchises that need a lot of upkeep, so I can understand that, but hopefully we'll get to dip our toes back in this universe again, because I absolutely love it. So yeah, just hang on tight. I'm going to be getting to the hut in the next video, and hopefully that's going to be just a one and done video for that, because I don't want to drag out this. I want to get the idea submission up as soon as possible, start gaining support for it ASAP, and then like I said, if you want to show your support in any way, just show somebody who might not know that this exists, and see what they think. So yeah, I'm going to get to work on the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, especially if you're not a Jak and Daxter fan and you're just a 2Bricks subscriber and you're just checking this out. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And hopefully, you know, you think this is cool regardless of, even if you don't know and aren't attached to this world. I'd love to know what you think down in the comments. So that's going to be it from me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.